Hi there, it's October the 25th, and we are concluding our journey through Paul's second letter to Timothy. We're in chapter 4 and reading the whole chapter from verses 1 to 22. So Paul is charging Timothy to remain faithful. He's been talking about faithfulness throughout this letter, and he's kind of giving him a royal commission here in a sense. And he's saying that in the presence of God and in presence of Jesus, he is telling him, keep going, keep announcing the word, keep telling people about the good news of Jesus, keep doing the work of an evangelist, keep doing the work of bringing people to himself. Because people are going to go off, there's going to be this falling away that Paul talks about. So he's saying make the most of the time that you have, because people will go and search out teachers who say the things they want them to hear. He says they'll have itchy ears and they will not be able to just continually receive the things that Timothy is saying. So he's saying make the most of the time that you have. And then Paul speaks about himself. Paul seems to be in a place very close to judgment, in a sense, or very close to his end. He's sensing that he's not got much longer left, but he says that he says, I'm being poured out as a drink offering for God. I'm being poured out as a sacrifice before the Lord. But he says, I've fought the good fight. I've fought the battle. I've seen it through. I've completed the course and I've kept the faith. And now there is stored up for me a crown of righteousness, and this will be given as my reward on the day that he comes, on the day that we see him. So there's very much this sense of Paul saying, I've completed what God gave me to do, what I came to do. And therefore, if I am taken, it's going to be with a sense of completion. That's a very powerful statement. And then Paul, in this very personal codicil, this personal ending to this letter, talks about certain people who have some have left him. Demas has left him and gone to Thessalonica. Demas has not been faithful. He says Luke is the only one with me, and of course Luke is the writer of Acts, and he encourages him to bring Mark with him. Tychicus has gone to Ephesus. So there are all these relationships that Paul has. This is actually what makes it difficult for me to accept that this is not Paul writing this letter, because of these very personal greetings that he brings. I believe this is Paul writing. He's been done damage by Alexander the coppersmith, and we're not exactly sure what Alexander has done, but we're aware that there are these people who are standing against Paul, even when he is in the midst of this difficult challenge, this being in prison. And he also says that he had to stand alone when his case came, presumably before the emperor. No one stood with him, but he said, the Lord helped me. The Lord gave me the ability to be his herald, to be his royal announcer, so that the good news was able to be clearly given to those who don't yet know God. But he also says, I was snatched from the lion's mouth. It gives us the idea that maybe Paul was in real danger of some kind of capital punishment because of his stand. We're aware that there's this danger that Paul is in at the moment. But Paul closes his letter with the greetings to his friends, to Priscilla and Aquila, who are there, it seems, with Timothy and the household of Onesiphorus. He's talking about the situation he's in when he's in this place in Rome, but actually grace is the thing that he ends this letter with. Grace be with you all. He is still relying on and benefiting from the grace of God, even though there's all this toing and froing, and there's all this upheaval in relationship, and there's all this sense of need and sense of danger that he's in. He's still relying on the Lord. He says, I've still know that I have run this race. I've still kept the faith, and God has treasured up for me a crown of righteousness. May we also, as we walk with Jesus through adversity, through difficulty, through good times and bad times, may we recognize, may we know that there is stored up for us this crown, which is in Jesus and all that he's done for us. Have a very good October 25th.